Welcome back to Cinephellas. I am Kevin Miller, and I'm here to talk about a film. But first, want to talk about Bong Joon-ho, a guy 5 years ago who basically owned Hollywood on Oscar night. He won Best Screenplay, Best Director, Best International Film, and Best Picture for first for an international film, Parasite. And ever since then, Hollywood has been waiting for what this guy's going to do next. And now he has brought us the quirky social satire science fiction Mickey 17.
I don't like you. But I'm you. I'm not you. I'm gonna kill you.
All right, just out of the gate, this is Bong's vision 100%. Since he won the Oscar for director and picture, what I just said, he received final cut and total control of what he was going to do with this film. And this film follows a man named Mickey, played incredibly by Robert Pattinson, more on him later, who in desperation signs up for a program where he is used as a guinea pig for the government to test vaccines, to go to dangerous places, and any objective for the good of the people. And to his luck, each time he dies, he is regenerated in a basically human copy machine to go through it all again. The government is run by an evil man called Kenneth Marshall, played by Mark Ruffalo, more on him later too, who is an elite leader who cares nothing of his people, just for success and fame and anything to feed his ego. And the conflict arises when Mickey is thought to be killed, and he comes back and meets Mickey 18, and Mickey 18, also played by Pattinson, is more confident, more suave, just an overall more solid character than he is. But Mickey 17 is very charming in his own goofball kind of way. After a lot of events that transpire in the movie that I don't want to ruin, the two decide to team up and take down the evil Kenneth Marshall and try to basically balance everything between the elites and the working class. This is mainly due to these creatures called the Creepers, who saved Mickey 17's life when everyone thought he was dead. And of course, Marshall wants to exploit them. And that is basically the basis of the movie. I don't want to ruin this because I think you should go into this film pretty much with a blank slate. And I haven't really been exposed to a lot of Bong Joon-ho's films. I saw Parasite, I saw Okja, and Snowpiercer. But the one thing in all those films, and from what I hear the others, is he always writes about the struggle between the have-alls and the have-nots. And it is no different here. It is just behind a giant budgeted science fiction film that is pretty good. It is a little long, and as I said, he got final cut. The movie is of its own nature. You cannot accuse it of being lazy, unoriginal, and just you can't say this film is like, oh, this is just like anything else in Hollywood. It's not. This is Bong Joon-ho in his own sandbox with no one telling him what to do. And while some of it works, there is some stuff that could have been, I feel, cut or trimmed down. The movie is a tad long. It's a good film, but I think there could have been things that could have been cut entirely or kind of trimmed down, as I said. One of these things is Mark Ruffalo, who is doing a Trump impersonation. It is very widely known that Ruffalo is not a very big fan of the president. And with this performance, it's funny at first, but it kind of loses its novelty as the movie goes on. And by the end of the movie, I'm like, okay, we get it. You don't like Trump. This is supposed to be Trump. And it's kind of a one-dimensional performance. There is a lot of ideas here. As I said, not all would stick. But let me tell you something. This movie looks fantastic. The visual effects are great. The creepers are so cute. They look like insects and they're kind of like ugly, but they're lovable. And the social commentary is in your face at points, but some of it works. There are some points I'm like, okay, I know what Bong is trying to do, and I see what he's trying to do, and it is fun and it is interesting, and he's presenting it in a very unique way that Bong Joon Ho always does. His films are always presented in a very interesting way, and it is done here. And that brings me to the greatest part of this movie, which is a majority of the film, practically all of it, and it is what is behind me on this video, and it is Robert Pattinson. This guy has totally turned around his career. He has become one of the most interesting actors in Hollywood. I think I read something that he based this upon Ren and Stimpy, and you can kind of see Stimpy with Mickey 17. Mickey 18 is a little more anger, a little more like, no nonsense. We also have Toni Collette here. Toni Collette is this being, she plays the wife of Kenneth Marshall, who's played, as I said, by Mark Ruffalo. She's doing okay. She's doing great work, and you're never gonna get a bad performance on Toni Collette. Naomi Aki, I think her name is. She was in Blink Twice. Liked her there. She's very good here. British actress called Patsy Fernan, who plays one of the scientists. I enjoyed her performance. But Pattinson is incredible with comedy, with the voices. This guy can change his voice into anything. And despite my criticisms of some of the other stuff, like, the non-subtlety of this picture, it is worth it for him. It is so much fun to watch him. It is so much fun to see what he's going to do next. It is really his film, and this thing was supposed to come out during Oscar season. I don't think it would have done well with the Oscars. He definitely would have gotten a nomination because he is fantastic. He creates two very different people, not even the voices, how they move, how they act. Great performance. The effects are there. This thing cost, I think, over $200 million, and you definitely see it on the screen. Overall, I had a really good time with this film. It's not for everybody. I've talked to people who have said it's very up its own ass, but I've also talked to other people who say, "Oh, this was really a fun satirical film." With a science fiction jacket on, if you want to say. Anyway, I'm going to recommend this. If you're a fan of Bong Joon-ho's work, definitely check this one out. If you're not, you're hesitant, do it do it for him. He's incredible in this film. I know I can't say enough about Robert Pattinson. I can't wait to see what he does next. And overall, I am going to give this one a 3.5 out of 5. Mickey 17 and Mickey 18 hair pieces. Do you agree with me? Do you think that this movie was incredible, or do you think that this was just a boring mess and a case maybe of a director getting too much power? Let me know. Let us know. Come to the site, watch other videos here. We do video reviews of movies, TV, and video games. Come watch our podcast. We're always talking about the latest in Hollywood. And thank you very much for basically watching. I love talking to you guys about film. And yeah, as we say in the site, I'm Kevin, and cheers.